Hi guys, we're Eddie and Eddie here with another video on the channel. This time I'm predicting Birmingham City player rating. So I'm going through so far all the key players which should start next season. I haven't gone through every single youngster at the club. I've just gone through where I think the majority of the squad will be made up. There's still plenty of time for transfers to happen. But let's kick off first player, which will be Andreas. So you guys should see on the screen Andreas PRIETO, our newest signing in the goalkeeper department, our only senior goalkeeper of the club, so the only goalkeeper we're going to talk about, who was playing for Espanyol and he decided to join Blues on a 3-year deal. I haven't seen too much of him, however, I did see the entire friendly he played against Spurs. I thought he was a very good goalkeeper. He didn't have much to do in all fairness, made a few saves here and there. He made 2 saves and he was very good with his feet, very good at passing. Now I've decided to bump up his rating from Fifa, which is from a 67 to 68. I'd imagine Birmingham see something in him to hopefully make him possibly our first choice next season. And I do think he's a very talented goalkeeper standing at 6'4", and I think he could be an absolutely massive player going up front. But who knows? The next player we can talk about next is going to be our defence, and we're going to start off with Christian Pedersen. Here we go, boys. You guys should see on the screen, which will be Christian Pedersen, the Danish left back, who gave it 73 rated, which I do think is a very deserved rating. In my opinion, he's been one of the best left back in the league, scoring a few goals for Blues, getting a few assists as well. I think he's going to be an absolutely crucial player down at St Andrews next season. I'm very happy we kept him, especially keep the likes of Watford and Crystal Palace away from him. Both clubs respectively about 7 or 8 million for Christian Pedersen. Fortunately, we rejected them offers for Blues. He will definitely be a keeper and surely our first team left back next season. Now let's go and talk about the captain at the club in Harley Dean. So you guys should see it on the screen at the moment. Harley, I've decided to give him a rating of 70, bumped down his ranking, so I don't think he's been the same player as he was for the past couple of seasons down at St Andrews. Hopefully Cranker can get the best down. I think this is a very fair reflection on what he's done. He's done a few games here and there, but he was absolutely awful towards the end of the season, giving away a penalty against the field, which was ridiculous the way his tackle, which he did, and giving away multiple fouls. And I feel like he should have led the team to safety and should have kept us up, even if we did stay up. He should have, grabbed the team and, told them what to do. And we should have finished around about mid-table because we had it in our hands, but we had to drag ourselves down into relegational fight. But I think 70 rating is fair. I wouldn't put anything below that. I think he's been a decent centre-back at the same time. He's had a few good games here and there against the likes of West Brom, Leeds. I thought he was unfortunate. I think he gets a bit too much slack, I think he gets a bit too much slack. However, I think he needs to grab the bull by the horns, and I definitely do think he could be a new player under Cranker. So next player we'll talk about is going to be Ivan Sonic. Here we go, boys. We got our third player. Well, third, yeah. Is it third? I think it's fourth, actually. Yeah, fourth player we're talking about so far. Now we'll talk about Ivan Sonic, I've downgraded from a 75 down to a 73. I think he's been absolutely fantastic, but then again, I think our league position is really going to, tell us, why he's there. And he's gone from playing Champions League football, now playing, EFL Championship football, which isn't the best of his career. But then again, I'd imagine, coming down to the EFL Championship, coming to England is obviously a massive move for him. And, I'm very excited, to see him because I thought he was one of our best players this season. He went massively under the radar, never afraid to take a tackling, can pass the ball, can shoot from long range. I think he's very good. The only few things that put him down in my opinion is pace. I think he's very slow in his reactions, but I definitely do think he's a top-class CDM and, definitely up there in the Championship CDM ranks. So I think that's Ivan Sonic's story really told. Now we're going to talk about Mark Roberts. Right, boys, now we're talking about our next player, which is Mark Roberts, who I think is a good defender in my opinion. I think it's very 50-50 between Blues fans, Harley Dean or Mark Roberts. I personally prefer Mark Roberts. I think he is a good defender on his day. Yorkshire Maldini, as some people call him. I definitely do think he is a very good player. I think he can always ping a ball. He does make a few mistakes here and there, but I definitely do think he is a very good player on his day. He made a really bad mistake in pre-season though, but I've decided to stick him as the 6'9" rating, downgraded a few stats, upgraded 1 or 2. I think that's a fair rating. I do think he might be moved down though quite heavily, but we signed him for Barnes for £3 million, and he definitely hasn't been a £3 million player for Blues, but I definitely do think he could be a different player under Aitor Krankus. There's my views on Mark Roberts. So as you guys can currently see on the screen now, I've decided to put Gary Gardner as our next player which we're going to talk about. He's currently given a rating of 70. I think he definitely has been good and bad. He's got a few goals for Blues, which you'd love to see. He's scored a few against Hull, scored a few against Luton. He's done alright, Gary Gardner. I wouldn't say anything bad about him, I wouldn't say anything good about him. He's been what I expected him to be, you know, rotational, average, championship midfielder. I could see him leaving Blues this season. He's been a bit injured, but he is a Blues fan, and I'd love to see him stay and try and do well at the club. And I definitely do think he could do all right under Cranker. I could see Cranker bringing someone to replace him, but so far, in my opinion, it's Sunich and Gardner as the two centre defensive midfielders for currently Birmingham City. So let's go on to our next player. I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for this one, but I definitely decided to downgrade him quite considerably. I don't think he's been the same player which he has. He's shown moments of quality to the team. I've decided to downgrade Daniel Crowley from a 72 to a 70 rating. I don't think he's been... I think he's been okay. He's shown some glimmers here, but he definitely, I don't think he deserves that rating. I think 70 would be a very fair rating in my opinion. But he is good. There definitely is a good player in there. He's the perfect centre midfielder for Blues currently. Little nimble player which can do some good passes here and there. I just don't think he's hit the height which we all expect him to. I think he could do well under Aitor Cranker, you know, a new manager, a lot more of a tactical, better manager than Pep Clotter at the current time. But I definitely do like Crowley. I'd love him staying in the Blues team next season. I definitely do think that's a fair rating. I might have been harsh on that. Like, personally, I'd love him to stay at 72. I definitely think he would deserve to at the same time. But I think FIFA are going to go with a massive downgrade to him. I'm going to go with a 70 rating. So let's now talk about our next player. So here we go, boys. Our next player we can talk about is BELA, who I honestly think is an absolute fantastic player. I think he's my player of the season, personally. I think he's been absolutely crucial since he's going to be so skillful. He's so good down the wing. Quick, pacey, dribbling, can cross, can shoot. He can do all them good stuff. However, he didn't do that well at crossing against Spurs. But, you know, he's done absolutely fantastic. I mean, he's the best free transfer I think we've had in seasons. And I'm very excited to see another season under him, under a better manager in Aitor Cranker. And Aitor Cranker gets so much around, but I have decided to downgrade him again, which I think the league position is massively going to affect these players at Birmingham. I think they are massively going to affect us at the league position. So I've decided to downgrade from 73 to 72. Not that much of a downgrade. I think it would be very unfair to give him any more of a downgrade than that. Maybe 71, but literally no lower than that, I don't think. He started for 73. Moved down to 72. No bother. So let's go talk about our next player. So now, boys, here you go. You guys see the big man on the screen currently, and that is Lukas JUTKIEWICZ. He started 72 in FIFA 20. I've decided to give him a downgrade, even though this is his best season in a Blues shirt. But I do not think he was the same player as last season. He scored more goals this season, but he didn't get near enough assists compared to what he did last. I mean, last season under Monk, he got, what was it, 14 goals, 14 goals, 15 assists. That is incredible. That is absolutely incredible strike. This hasn't been very bleak for Blues, in my opinion. We've had some good moments here and there. JUTKIEWICZ, honestly, he's the main man, back at the ball, back post, boom, scored against teams like Stoke, Bristol City. Bristol City was probably his best goal, actually. You know, it was a fantastic goal, and an assist by Lee Camp as well. But, you know, I'm very happy with JUTKIEWICZ. I think he's done very well for Blues. I've decided to give him a downgrade, though, only by one rating, and I think any more would be very harsh in my opinion, especially he's scored his most goals for Blues in the season. He's got about 15, 16 this season, not too sure, but he definitely knows where the back of the net is. I'm worried about teams like, he's linked with the likes of Forest, and I think West Brom and Middlesbrough came in for him last summer, so obviously intentions are high currently for that management. That shows he is a good player. But there we go, JUTKIEWICZ. Let's going to talk about our next player. So as you guys can currently see on the screen, George Friend, the Birmingham City newest signing. He's our oldest but newest signing at the same time. He's our first signing to the club which we signed under Aitor Cranker. I definitely think he will add so much crucial knowledge to the team as well as experience. I think he performed well in a few friendlies which he's done for Blues against Charlton and Spurs. I definitely think he is a good centre-back on his day. and I think he could do quite well for Blues. Unfortunately, he started at left back of his career, but Marion, when he was at Bury, he's playing centre back, and he did play for centre back for Blues in these friendlies. So I've decided to convert him from a left wing back to a centre back, which I definitely do think he'll do well there. Very highly rated by Neil Warnock. He said he's openly said and wished he could have kept him at Middlesbrough, and same on the Middlesbrough fans, but I definitely do think he could do well for Blues under Aitor Kranjčar. Kranjčar was a massive hold for him probably to come to Birmingham, and yeah, I think that is quite good there. I'm very excited to see Friend play in the Blues shirt next season. Come on, the Blues. Anyway, we're talking about our next player. So now, boy, the next player we talk about is David Davis, who's returned back from loan from Charlton. He played numerous games this season for Blues, especially at the start of the season, and then unfortunately left us in the January transfer. Unfortunately left us at January transfer, and he went on loan to Charlton for the remainder of the season. And he had a very poor end to the start of the season. As you guys can see, I've downgraded my 2 ratings down to a 67, and I think that is a very fair reflection on the ratings. I am, you know, I don't think he's the same player as he was. I love David Davis. I think he's very passionate for the club. We're a big servant to the club. Scoring it as the Villa also, so you love that as well, don't you, boys? But, you know, I definitely do think he is a... I don't think he's got it anymore. I really don't. I like David Davis, but I just don't think he's got it in him anymore. But who knows? Could do well under Kranjčar, sorry. He could do well for all we know, but... yeah, that's all I can really say about him. So we move on to our next player. So you go, as you guys can see on the screen currently, it's Maxime Colin, who I think is a very 50-50 player this season. He's had so many good games, and he's had so many underwhelming games where I think he should have been better. I've decided to downgrade from a 71 to a 70 rating. I think he's definitely a fair rating in my opinion. I don't think he's been the same player which he has been for last season. Hopefully he can do well under Aitor Kranjčar. I've got mixed feelings whether he will do well but there definitely is a good player in there, as you guys can see from Brentford and for a few numerous times we played for Blues this season. Scored against Blackburn at good header as well, but not really much to talk about. Maxime Colin, French right back, first team right back for next season. Surely I can't see anyone else going to replace him. But I think I am fairly happy with how Maxime Colin has done this season. But I definitely do think he isn't the same player which he has been. Next player we're going to talk about. Let's go into our next player. So here we go, boys. The next player to talk about is our fourth signing for Blues so far. I know it's going to be in a very weird order, lads, but let me just roll with it. This is Jonathan Leko from West Bromwich Albion. We signed him for West Bromwich Albion for a reported fee of £1 million, which I think is an absolute steal. Despite him currently having an ACL injury, I still think it's worth the risk. You know, it's only £1 million out of the Chowdhams and Jude Bellingham kitty money, and yeah, I think he's a good fast player. I play him as a striker because we don't have a striker. I'd imagine that's why he's been brought to Blues. I know he can play left winger, right winger, cam, but he definitely is a striker in my... well, not definitely a striker, but you can even send him something so he can play across the middle three and the up top. Oh, no, the front three, sorry. Not the middle three. Because I'm thinking of the formation that we usually play. But anyway, played quite well for Charlton. He went out on loan to Charlton. Not this season, I believe. Wait, actually, it might have been this season. Yeah, I think he went on loan to Charlton this season, which I think is a very good move for him. I think he is a good player. Very quick, very pacey, and yeah, I'm very excited to see him at Birmingham. Yeah, you know, yeah, I've decided to give him a 65 rating from a 66. I'd imagine he got downgraded because he hasn't done much since, but I mean, that's a fair rating. Anyway, boys, now we talk about one of our another latest signings of the club, which is John Toral, who signed from Hull City in a free transfer to Birmingham City. Cost us no money. Toral, ex-Birmingham City player, done very well under Gary Rowett at the time when he was on loan to us from Arsenal. Still fairly young at the age of 25. I'm hope you don't lose talent. There's talent in there, and I'm very excited to see how he's going to do. I've decided to give him a downgrade, though, because he hasn't done that well at Hull since. I've decided downgrading from a 68 to a 67, which I think is definitely a fair rating in my opinion, because he hasn't done much since at Hull. And yeah, I gotta admit, I am fairly decently excited because there is a good player in there. You don't lose talent. Even when they spoke to a free Hull fan team, he said it before Krasicki and Bowen, Toral was one of their most creative sparks in their team, and he did do well for Birmingham when he was out there. He's not going to be in the first team, I'd imagine, anyway, but I am very excited to see how he's going to do and hopefully return back to his former self. But there we go, boy. Jonathan Toral, 6-7 rated. Anyway, boys, now moving on to our next player, which is Ivan Sanchez from the Liege, which we signed on a free transfer. He's honestly a great bit of business from Birmingham City. He's a very good winger, very quick, as you guys can see currently on the screen. I've decided to upgrade him from a 73 up to a 74, which I think he's an absolute... He got Alice promoted, basically. He's one of Alice's favourite players at the club. He might even deserve a gold item, you know, but he definitely looks a very exciting player. I think he could do well. Excuse me, if he could do well at Birmingham, he would obviously go in that right midfield spot with Crowley, Sanchez, BELA. Unfortunately, Ivan Sanchez, I believe, is currently in quarantine at the moment, you know, 2 weeks before he can actually train with the club. I'm very excited to see how he's going to do at Blues. Can't wait to see him wearing the Royal Blue shirt, and he'll be a transfer during stressing and waiting for it to be announced. I definitely think he could do very well at Birmingham. So now we're going to move on to our next player. Here we go, boys, talk about our next player at the club, which is Steve SEDDON. This is a very interesting one to currently talk about at the moment because he didn't technically play for Blues that much. I believe he went on loan to AFC Wimbledon and then went on loan to Portsmouth, and I think he definitely deserves a massive upgrade from a 62 rating up to a 65. He did very well. He's one of the reasons why Portsmouth got into playoffs last year. Unfortunately, Portsmouth did obviously fail to get to the final and try and get promotion to the Championship, which I do think he's an amazing fullback. I don't think he gets the credit he deserves at Birmingham. I think it could be a hidden gem next season. If Pedersen decides to go, I'd love to see Steve SEDDON fill the void. But if Pedersen would decide to go, I definitely think he's a good left back. But I think he's more likely to go out on loan this season to maybe like a Wickham, another League One club. And yeah, I'm very excited to see how he's going to do, and I definitely think he deserves that rating. According to many Portsmouth fans and FC Wimbledon fans, but good luck to him. Can't wait to the next Blues team next FIFA. Anyway, we're going to go into our last player, which we're going to talk about. Well, boys, you guys should see our final player on the screen, and it is Michael KIEFTENBELD, the 60-yard man himself. He scored from 60 yards, making the longest goal at St Andrews, I believe. But, you know, honestly, I love KIEFTENBELD, but I don't... Injuries didn't massively affect him, though. You know, he only recently come back from injury. I think that's the reason why I'm giving him a downgrade. Injuries massively affected his career. I feel like in a couple of seasons, maybe next season, I could see him going off to the Eredivisie, which he's openly said himself he would love to finish off his career back in his homeland, maybe FC Groningen or at you know, another Dutch club. But I definitely do think KIEFTENBELD deserves that. He's very loved by many Birmingham fans. Love a volley KIEFTENBELD. He either puts it top bins or he either puts it out the stadium. Usually it's outside the stadium 9 times out of 10. But I love KIEFTENBELD, and I definitely do think he'll be a great player for Blues. Anyway, boys, that's it for this Birmingham City FIFA 21 player ratings. So I predicted all my... I obviously haven't predicted all the Birmingham players. I tried to go for as many key ones as I could. Please put in the comments, lads, if I forgot any current Birmingham players. You know, I've tried to go for as many as going. Look at the club website. The club website is currently, you know, all messed up because they usually like to add the images of the kit. But unfortunately, that's not been added yet. But I am very excited to see majority of them players FIFA 21. There will be a Birmingham City career mode lads FIFA 21, so please make sure you guys stick around for that. But lads, please, if any of you guys are new to the channel, remember to like, subscribe, because we are trying to grind for 1.3k. Let's try and get there together, lads. But massive thank you to every single one of you guys watching this video, lads. I love every single one of you guys, and I hope you guys all will take care, lads. Peace.